All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is excited. It's Friday. I know I am. It has been a very, very long week. So I'm looking forward to in and out this week with a bang and going into the weekend and Labor Day weekend and having a nice little 3 day break. So, if you will, I would like for everybody to go to the WhatsApp chat and post not any AP, but I want you to post how many presentations that you've done for the week so far and how many of those that you've closed. So let's say you've closed 4 out of 5. So just put like 4/5. But I'm going to use those numbers for today and kind of what I'm getting into, just, seeing our opportunities and I just want to look at your numbers and see what your ratio looks like. I think it would help other agents see maybe they're not in the same, they're not the only ones out there that have had, let's say, 5 presentations this week and maybe only closed one. So, if you will, just drop that in the chat when you can, the numbers that you've closed versus, the total number of presentations that you've done. So, I did do a verse of the day, but I don't know how to put it on my screen, so I'm just going to read it to you. So, this is Proverbs 16:3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He establishes your plans. I feel like I'm looking back and forth, but just reading my screen. So yeah, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He establishes your plans. So this reminds us, when we bring our work to Him, our work and our goals to Him, that, He aligns and secures our path moving forward. And it just kind of gives us like that confidence that our plans, they have a firm foundation. And I'm telling you, when you turn to Him, like I've been a Christian my whole life, and I swear until this past year, it was kind of like I forgot to go to Him for things. And if that's you, and if you're finding yourself like forgetting to turn to Him daily, just take 2 seconds at the very beginning of your day. I say this every time I get in my car: Lord, please send me to those who need me today. You know, put me where I'm supposed to be and send me to those people that need my help. And man, if He doesn't deliver. So just remember that. Go to Him, turn to Him and put your work and your goals to Him, and He will line you up where you need to be, and He will um, keep that foundation steady for you. So I think some people have posted some numbers here. So that is good. But yes, today's call. Again, I guess I could introduce myself. I know there's so many new people, and I think most of you know me, but there are some new people. So I am Kaylee Zarello, or KZ, whatever you want to call me. I've been in the insurance business for 6 years. Wow, makes me feel old. But yeah, 6 years in July, this past July, last month. So yeah, that is me, and nice to meet you if I haven't met you before. But yes, so I chose today to speak on maximizing like your opportunities. So, we learn the presentation, we learn the door approach, we can learn all these things, the products, the materials, just everything that we do every day. But really what it boils down to is, how many opportunities, how many people are we sitting in front of every single day? That's going to determine what you make in this business. It's not about how good you are. You could be great and you not sit with anybody. You could be great and sit with one person a day. So you see where I'm going there. So that's kind of why I wanted everybody to post. I'm going to look at WhatsApp really quick. So Samantha closed 5 out of 6. Go girl. Casey 3 out of 5. Jenny 4 out of 6. Becca 2 out of 8. She's ran into a lot of sick, covered old people this week. I mean, it happens, right? So don't get so caught up on the numbers as far as AP. You're going to find the AP as long as you get in front of those people. So I kind of wanted to talk today about how can we maximize our opportunities. It's not just about buying leads and going and working them. If it was, then we would just wear ourselves out, right? So I've kind of dug down deep into what are some things we can do to, see more people, right? So the biggest thing, yes, you're gonna start with leads. That's gonna be your base, your foundation, the main thing that you're doing, right? But we can obviously add to that. So I wrote down, you want to work different lead types, different areas. You don't want to just stick to, I'm only going to buy this one lead type in this one area. Talk about getting more out. You will be bored and wore out and tired of seeing the same surroundings, right? But yeah, just work a variety of leads in different areas. Keep stacking up your leads. I'm going to show y'all what my Road Warrior looks like. You are going to buy leads over and over and over again. When I first started, I was like, okay, I'm going to get like 20, 30 leads this week, work them. And then it's like I'm throwing them out. And then I'm going to get 30 more leads the next week and work those. No. Like, well, mine kind of looks a little crazy because I have some different color coordination. But you see that map? I got a bunch of people to see, but that's not from just a week's worth of leads. That's from months and months of leads, right? I started at the beginning of this year just stacking my leads. I do a lot of color coordination on maybe like ones that weren't home or stuff like that, but keeping up with your leads, but mainly stacking them because you want to have that flow. You want to have a map full of people that you can go see, right? Let's say you're getting a lot of not homes, like that's half of them, right? Try them at different times of the day. Maybe you've been trying, during the weekdays, during like typical business hours. Maybe those people are still working. If there's like a power night that you're gonna, plan to have, put them, remember them, like have something. All you have to do is go in your Road Warrior. There's a little note section. I set mine, like when you have a stop dropped, you can actually click add to favorites. So that's what I do. Or you can just leave it really as a drop if you want to, or a stop. And you can click on edit and there's a little note section and it says, or you can type, knocked August 29th, not home or whatever. And, maybe put after 5, like to remind you this needs to be one I need to hit up after 5. So just kind of something there. But don't ever toss out your leads because I'm telling you, I don't know if y'all remember, I think maybe last month before, I was heading home, ready to call it a day. And I passed this house that I remember I had a lead for from years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago. And this lady was never home. And I always like called her husband out on the porch, but like he wasn't the decision maker. And I tried, but I needed to talk to her, but she was always working. And so I hadn't tried her in forever, but I still had her information. And I stopped by there that day, and that was that big house that I got. It was like over $7,000 in that house. So she was retired now. Like she was working a couple of years, 3 or 4 years ago, but she was now retired. And so it just makes you think like, what if I would have gave up on her, right? What if I would have never went back to that house? Yeah, you're going to have people that move, but hey, I'm so sorry. I need to update my, records on file here. You know what? While I'm here, I'll get you checked off my list since y'all are the new residents. Let me go grab my folder. I'll be right back. Like, don't be scared to go back to old leads because you're like, oh, they probably all moved. That's not, if they did, so what, right? So yeah, don't get rid of your leads. You need to stack them up. You need to be out there working new leads. You're working new to you leads, like you hadn't ever tried them before. Maybe you're working some not homes, but maybe you're working some ones that are from a couple years ago. Like as you build your business, just think of that. A lot of the times, obviously, we're running into not homes, right? Are you taking your phone with you on the front porch? I have my phone and my iPad in my hand on that front porch. And typically, if this is like my second time knocking them and they're not home, I'm calling them 3 times back to back on my phone while I'm standing there on the front porch. Because if I don't do it right then, I'm not going to do it, right? Yes, I'll set aside times in the evenings to try to reach out to people, but why not just sit there and call them on the front porch? You'd be surprised how many people pick up the phone and they're like, oh, baby, I'm in the back room. I didn't even know you were out there, right? So, and then maybe they're at work, or maybe they're, oh, I'm down the street, but I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, perfect. I'll make it my last stop of the day. I'll swing back by around 3 or 4. Does that work for you? So just, putting yourself out there, not just knocking, not home, and leaving. So that as far as leads go. Neighbors, I know what it feels like when you're knocking, not home, not home, not home. But guess who is home? Their neighbors. What if they're sitting out there on the front porch, right? Hey, I'm Kaylee. I'm the local agent here in Pender County. Sorry to catch you off guard. I was actually trying to come by to see your neighbor, Miss Betty, but I don't think she's home. But I was coming by to see her about some final expense, benefits that she had requested. Has anybody been out to go over those with you yet for the year? They just update every year, and they typically send us out to go over that with everyone. Oh, they hadn't? Okay, well, you know what? I've got some time before my next appointment. I don't mind getting you checked off my list really quick. I'm gonna grab my folder out of my car. I'll be right back. Like, how easy was that? I wasn't aggressive. I wasn't pushy. I was very, like, I'm offering my services to them. And I always say this, the answer is always going to be no, unless you ask, right? So these neighbors that were riding by, they probably filled out a lead, they probably filled out a request. They either did and somebody else is going to get them, or they haven't, but it has crossed their mind, right? So why not a free lead? Those people are just sitting there waiting for us to walk in their door. And like I said, the answer at the door is always going to be no on neighbors until we knock it, until we ask. So keep that in mind. You ride by one of them houses, you see a couple window units, a ramp, a Buick, just try them out. You'd be surprised. Some of my biggest houses are from a neighbor. I remember this is a few months back. It was a duplex, and I tried this lady. I tried her. She's never home. So I tried her again. And on the other, there's one building and 2 apartments. And so they kind of share a front porch, kind of. But anyway, so the other neighbor is on their front porch. And I was like, well, you know what? They're not here again, but she's sitting right out here on the porch. So I just simply walked over there. I said exactly what I just said to y'all. I was trying to swing by to see her, yada, yada. And then like that neighbor, I think she was like, I'm good. Oh, okay. Well, or I think she said something about, I don't even know how I inched my way in, but we somehow brought up Medicare. And I was like, oh, I can help you with that too. And if not, one of our specialists can, whatever I have to say to get in. Right. So got $100 and some app out of that house. So had I not have asked, the answer would have still been no, right? So just ask, try it out. Referrals. So whenever we're getting to the end of our presentation, like we've been there, they probably got declined. We had to go another company, right? We're ready to go. Don't rush at the end. This is where your lasting impression is going to be. You're not going to see them like for a while, or maybe even ever. I don't know, but this is like your final last impression, right? So during that post close, I always, I like to reflect on what we did, for the day. Miss Betty, so today we were able to bundle your 2 policies. You're now going to be putting, $15 back in your pocket every month. And you don't have to worry about that $700 loan anymore. Isn't that amazing? I'm so, so happy for you. Is that like such a weight lifted off of your shoulders? I know. Well, listen, Miss Betty, I would love to help anyone that you can think of the same way I was able to help you. Maybe they've got something in place like you had, but maybe they just haven't reviewed it in a while, and there's some different things built up in their plan that I can help maximize on, or maybe they don't have anything in place yet, and they're needing someone. And now that you know and trust me, I would love to help them. Can you think of anybody that, your friends, your family, your loved ones that maybe I could help? And like saying it after you reflect and bring that emotion back to them, that is key, because it's like it reminds them of everything that we've done. It's not just transactional. This was an emotional situation here, right? So when you show that you truly care and like you have a passion for what you do, your mission is to help all, like they are going to send you people. So try to ask for referrals in that way. And whenever you've got beneficiary information, they're leaving it behind to Tammy and Betty or whoever. Miss Johnson, Tammy and Betty, you think that they have their plans in order? God forbid if something happened to them. Just bring up, you've got names right in front of you with those beneficiaries. What's so sad? I'm actually, this morning, I have a death claim that I have to go help a lady do on her son. And just last month or month before, I helped another one of my clients with a death claim for her son. So use those stories. Use those stories to sell. Like, Miss Betty, I've been doing this for a while now, and I've obviously had to do some claims, and you would be surprised, but in the past couple of months, I've done more claims for my clients' children than I have for them, like for my clients. Which obviously, their policies I wrote, but so they're my clients too. But anyways, use that story. Like it's not just the old people, our 65 and up people that we need to be concerned about. It can be any of us. It can be any of us, any given time. So making sure everybody is protected is a must. So that is referrals. And there again, it's always going to be a no until you ask, right? Social media warm market. So I always say, don't be a closet agent. You got to let the world know what you do, because when life insurance crosses their mind, they're going to think of you, right? Oh yeah, Kaylee does insurance. I need to text her. I got to give a big shout out to Abby and Vanity and Stephanie. They flood their Facebook. Well, not flood, but they keep stuff on their Facebook. They engage their viewers, and they have had so much success. Like every time, like if Abby or Vanity or Stephanie write a policy, they're like, yep, that was from Facebook. That was from Facebook. I'm like, dang. So why not? And you don't have to have something all fancy and pretty, and like there's so many different like all of our companies that we write business with. Go follow their pages and just share what they post. What is that one like Facebook group, like Life Insurance Matters or whatever? They have some nice little things that you can share, like quotes. But I had the most activity on one of my posts a few months back. Whenever I was talking about my client situations, I was like, oh, this week I was able to help 9 families. Here's a few examples of how I was able to help. And I just kind of briefly explained a few things. I had so much activity on that post and so many people reach out, like just simply sharing what we do and how we help. So it doesn't have to be all, ad related. Like, don't feel like you got to go create some ads, like where they have to click on or something. But if you want to, that's just another way. But it's just simply, letting the world know. And like I said, if you're not getting if you're like, oh, I've posted now for a few weeks and nobody's messaged me, it's not going to be immediate. I mean, sometimes it can, but When when life insurance crosses their mind, they're going to say, oh, I remember Kaylee posted on Facebook, I'm going to reach out to her. Or if it comes up in conversation with that person and somebody, needing, I need some life insurance. Do you know anybody? Oh yeah, I know somebody. So, just don't be a closet agent. Next one. So the no close clients. So ones that we are not able to close. Don't give up on them, y'all. Do not give up on them. Y'all saw where Becca said she's run into sick, covered, you name it. So let's say somebody just had a heart attack, right? They just had a heart attack or just diagnosed with cancer or something like critical like that. Something that's eventually going to go away. It's not like they were just diagnosed with a terminal illness, but they just had heart surgery or something pretty, serious, right? And maybe they got a great policy, ethically, we can't do anything about that. We can offer to add on. Maybe they were like, you know what, I'd love to add on, but I can't really right now, right? Put them in your road warrior or leave them as a, stop or a favorite, and color coordinate them. That's what I do. I have all of my couldn't close. I have them set as like an orange favorite. And in there, I'll put like heart attack, August 2025. And so when I'm back in that area next year, August of 2026, and it's been a year since their heart attack, I'm going back by there. Hey, I met with you last year and I know that you had just had your heart attack. How are you doing? You've been doing good, blah, blah, blah. I know at the time that we couldn't do anything, but I kept you on my follow-up list because, since I've already met with you, I've already got you established. And so if there's any way I can help now, I certainly will. How hard is that? Talk about opportunities, right? You're meeting with these people now and not able to help them, but that does not mean you cannot help them in the future. Let's say you run into somebody, they're still working, like that one lady that I could never get home, right? Let's say you meet with somebody, they're still working, they've got an employer plan, they're barely paying nickels and dimes for, and they're like, they're dumb, right? They're like, oh, I'm going to keep this, I'm good. And you're trying to educate them like, okay, well, when you retire, that's not going to be there. We probably should get you something in place now. And they're just not going for it. And so all you have to do is at the end of that presentation, simply say, you know what, Miss Betty, I'm going to keep you on my follow-up list because I know retirement is eventually going to come. And I want to be able to help you out whenever you're going through that transition with your insurances. So I'm going to keep you on my list. And so simply there again, put it in your road warrior under favorites, put it as a color, still working, employer plan, whatever date that you were there. And just maybe 2 years from then, stop by, you'd be surprised. So don't think that no closed clients are gone forever, that you can always eventually close them. I guarantee you. And what's crazy is and people that have been here for years, you'll get the same people filling out these requests, and it's been years down the road. So if you don't go back and revisit them, somebody else is. Somebody else is. And that goes for existing clients too. So all of your existing clients that you write, I wish I would have done this from the very, very beginning as a new agent, because now it's kind of like backtracking, but I now have them, or not all, I haven't loaded them all, but I put them in my favorites. All of mine are purple, and I have their, Mutual of Omaha, $50, whatever. And whenever I'm in the area, if I'm not crunched for time, I will swing by, simply stop in and do a visit. And I like to put the date that I was there. So if I know, okay, if I was just there in January, I'm not going to go back by right now, right? It hasn't even been a year. I like to do, over a year, 2 years. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to play catch up because I haven't been as great about revisiting old clients. But I think people have it in their head like, oh, I'm going to go rewrite my whole book of business. Like, no, you don't need to go into your existing client's house with that mindset, because that's not our goal. Our goal is to revisit them, to just treat them like a regular client that you do a presentation. You need to review their medication. Do you have any updated medication? Review their current needs. Has something changed financially? Do we need to update some beneficiaries? Do we need to increase your coverage because you took out a home equity loan? What changes do we need to make? Did you get another policy from the TV and you didn't call me? And now let's bundle your policies into one. I've had so many clients do that. I'm like, Miss Betty, you could have called me if you wanted 5,000 more. Like, what? And so unless we go by, like, these people are free range. They're going to do whatever. They're going to let agents in their house. Hopefully not, but hopefully they'll be like, you call my insurance girl, But unless we still show our faces, they're out there getting some insurance probably, right? So as soon as a new agent walks in, they're going to offer a lower price or more coverage. And, it's just, if we don't revisit, somebody else will. I just had a guy, man, and I feel awful because I wrote him a few years ago, Transamerica, and I think Transamerica Standard. This is before the Express product came out. I think he had COPD, and it's like $150 app. And he's not even far from me. He's like 30 minutes down the road. And I just haven't revisited. I could kick myself. And so I got an email like a couple months ago saying his policy was being replaced. And I'm like, oh, well, I need to go back out there. And what do you know? Another agent, not with us, obviously, but they went by and replaced him with Trans Express because it was cheaper. Like, if I would have revisited that, that could have been me. I could have put him in a better spot, right? And, I'm trying every angle. Like, I need to, just confirm all the medical questions were answered correctly. It looked like it was flagged on our end. So I just wanted to make sure, I'm just trying to pull out everything I can. Because he was at the point like, oh, I don't want to change it again. And I'm like, no, we're not going to change anything. I just need to double check a few things. Like, I'm just trying to get the door at this point. And, he was very generous. Like, he was, oh, I didn't realize. He said I was staying with the same company, which technically, yes. But you know how they are. They'll tell them whenever they want to hear. And, he was like, I didn't mean to mess anything up. And bless his heart. But he was just at the point where he didn't want to change again. He didn't even want to mess with it. And I tried getting the son involved and, But had I have been a better agent and revisited with him, that wouldn't have happened, right? So you gotta think about what is already sitting at our fingertips. So don't think, like I said, don't think that you're just going into your clients' homes when you're revisiting, doing like annual reviews and stuff, just to do, a rewrite. That's not our goal. Our goal is to protect our business, keep them on our books. But if there is a way we can better their situation, absolutely. I can remember one time I met with a husband and wife years ago. I couldn't help the husband at the time. I went back to do that wife's annual review, like I think a year later. And I could write him. It had been so long since whatever it was that he had. But, it's just, think of all of these opportunities that are sitting right in front of us, whether it's within our book of business, whether it's within the clients that we couldn't close, but maybe further down the road, referrals from our clients that we're sitting right in front of, our neighbors that are right next door to these clients. And then our leads, we've got to continue to stack up on all of these leads. Oh, and social media as well, our warm market, which should be our easiest clients. If you let them know you work with all of the companies, it's not like they're, hey, I can do the shopping for you, right? You're making it much, much easier. But with that being said, wow, it's already 9:30. So I hope that helps. I hope that, makes you think about maximizing your opportunities with how many people you're sitting with a day. because that is really what is the biggest game changer. It's how many people you're talking to. And with that, you will find success. So I hope y'all have a great Friday and a good weekend. And we will talk on, I don't know, Monday's Labor Day. So ask Ryan about that. Bye.